Dear God, what have we done? Oh, I'll tell you what we've done. We've spent time trying to decide what flavor ice cream we're gonna get. Because there are 10,000 flavors.
Right.
We spend half our lives choosing, trying to make a choice on bullshit. What movie tonight? Let me sit here for a half hour. No bombs going off. And we do nothing. We sit on our couches. Oh, I don't believe in voting. You fucking idiot. If that man gets in, as soon as he takes the oath, he will have generals walk down the steps of the Capitol. He will take a hammer and break the glass where the Constitution is, and he will tear it up in our faces. And say, now, I'm the king of the fucking world. You will bow down, bitches. He will punish everybody that didn't vote for him. Let me tell y'all how I know this shit. I know it because I know what mental illness looks like. That mania is unstoppable. See, this motherfucker's Hitler. He didn't come to play.
Shit.
I don't get it. I really don't. I don't understand what's going on. My brain is fizzled just trying to begin to work out. Why is it lies, lies, lies are the order of the day? It used to be there was kind of two ways of doing politics. It was state-funded, put money into state, public services, etc., or more capitalist, support private industries, etc. You can understand the two sides of the argument. There's now a third side of the argument, which is just basically lies and BS to, I have no idea what people like Tim Scott, Diaper Don, Nancy Mace, Matt Gaetz, Kevin McCarthy, I don't get it. Not interested in the truth. Marjorie Taylor Greene, not interested in representing you or anybody else, but they have the vote. What is exactly they are doing with it? Moaning, whinging and complaining, always on social media, always saying the world's going to fall in, and people lap it up, they believe it.
From now, the entire world will witness the commencement of the very first Biden trial. They're all Biden trials, you know that, right? And I'm proud to do it for you. Have a good time watching. Have a good time watching. On Monday in New York City, I will be forced to sit fully gagged. I'm not allowed to talk. Can you believe it? They want to take away my constitutional right to talk. I have a crooked judge. This has never happened before, by the way. You do know that, right? Fully gagged before a highly conflicted and corrupt judge who suffers from TDS. Does anyone know what TDS is? Correct. Trump derangement syndrome.
And as he expressed last night in Pennsylvania to a massive crowd of people that were on their feet clapping and cheering, is that the sad truth is this would have never happened to Israel if President Trump were still in the White House. Just a few years ago, there was peace in the Middle East. President Trump got Arab nations to come to the table to negotiate peace deals with Israel that never spoke before he was the negotiator in chief. He signed historic sanctions on the Iranian regime, cutting off the neck of the Iranians. They had never been more weak, more broke. And just in a matter of a few years, Joe Biden has reversed all of President Trump's very effective policies, and now they have been emboldened, and we've seen that aggression. The world is in chaos right now because of Joe Biden's weakness, and it just shows how petty and ridiculous this trial that we have starting in New York is tomorrow. When the world is at war, when our border is under invasion by terrorists and criminals, when inflation is increasing, the Democrats and Joe Biden are focused on prosecuting the former president of the United States.
surprise to nobody, you may have seen the pictures of a diaper Don going to Chick-fil-A to have a load of whatever it is you buy there. And he hugs somebody on the way out. Now, a random person would be thinking, that's very kind of the former guy to just pick somebody and show some affection, probably more affection than he's shown to his wife, Melania Trump, in the last year publicly. However, as with all things within the Trumpy Trumps, it was all a set-up. That wasn't some random person who just happened to be in the eye line of Trump, just happened to make sure she was past all of the Secret Service people, just happened to make sure that the shot was perfect for them to get the cameras, etc., all lined up, and then have all of the numpties on social media repeat it. Look at Trump, man of the people, etc. Problem. Turns out she's a full-on, signed-up member of the Trumpy Trumps, one of Candace Owens' mates, and what you would call a plant. Now, nothing wrong with that, but the story they were trying to put over is that she was just a member of the public, just being so excited to see Diaper Don lose a guy in her local takeaway. No. The problem is, there's a game, and I've said this so many times, to those who follow Trump, they're not interested in the truth. They've seen the picture. It just reconfirms the fact that they think, sycophant! This is the great one! It's all a con! Donnicod! I wish I'd come up with that name.
Look at the joy. Here to tell us about it is that young woman herself, Michaela Montgomery. She's also the founder of a grassroots political group to conserve the culture. Michaela, I've been waiting for this interview all morning.
I've been waiting for this my whole life.
So thanks so much for joining us. So you told the president when you were hugging him, I don't care what the media says, we support you. Tell me what you meant by that.
I'm so glad that was the first question you asked me. Mm-hmm. So, of course, in the excitement of everything, I wasn't able to really relay my message, but the general consensus or social media would have you thinking that if President Trump were to show up to the HBCU campuses or walk around the ABC community, that like some angry mob would form or a riot would ensue and that he would not be welcome. And clearly the sentiment in that room the other day was the complete opposite. He was very welcome. People were excited to see him. People showed up in support of him. And people, of course, were from all four institutions within the AUC, the local HBCU community in Atlanta, and they all showed up in support of him. So it's actually kind of crazy to see people in an uproar when all four institutions were legitimately represented and all four institutions were represented by said students who wanted to support President Trump. You know, and I really appreciate that we were able to not only let him know that regardless of what social media says, I know they're trying to make us think we're supposed to hate you, but we don't. And additionally, it was a learning experience for my students because they were able to see and experience firsthand how the media can warp the perception of an opinion or a person. Because like I said, to think that these students who attend these illustrious institutions aren't smart enough to make their own decisions, much so that they would only show support for Trump because he bought chicken sandwiches and milkshakes.
It's offensive.
That in itself is the most disturbing part of it all, especially when you think about the fact that it was mainly urban media outlets that were doing everything in their power to turn other black people against these young black kids who simply were not shy to explore other options.
It's so incredible, and I think you hit it on the head. By the way, the former president, gave a lot of funding to HBCUs. One of the highlights of my childhood was my HBCU tour to figure out what college I wanted to go to. But tell me about the former president and his policies. What is it about him that is gravitating these young people toward the president? And a lot of people, traditionally, Republicans don't do well in black America. But a lot of young black Americans like the former president. What is it about him?
I think, and this is a sentiment I get a lot coming from the young people themselves, is that they feel like he's honest. They feel like this is somebody who, while we might not agree with how he says things, how he goes about things, at least he's telling us what it is. We don't feel like this is a snake in the grass waiting for his chance to bite us. This is somebody who's telling us, this is what my plan is, here's how I plan to execute it, here's the people involved, and here's how you can get involved. So they just feel like he's more relatable. And I don't say that to say that, they all relate to him, but again, he gives you that relatable feeling to where it's like, hey, I'm just like you know me, this is what you said you wanted, here's what I'm going to try to do about it. They really feel like this is somebody who's talking to them and not just saying what they want to hear.
Such a good point. Michaela, what has Biden done for our community? What has he done for black America?
Well, he locked up a lot of people that look like me, and they're still sitting in jail waiting for, justice, an appeal of some sort. So when it comes to what Joe Biden has done for black America, if we look specifically at his record as a senator, it wasn't something that benefited us at all. If anything, one could argue that he dedicated his entire senatorial career to disrupting the way of life, for black people. He didn't want black kids going to the same school as his kids. He didn't want black people walking on the sidewalk along with his mother and grandmother. So the fact that we ignore these things that were said on the Senate floor, like this is somebody who passed legislation with the sole intent of oppressing a certain community. And we're going to act like that didn't happen, or we're going to act like it can be overshadowed by somebody's comments a few years down the line that made us feel some type of way. Feeling some type of way is completely different when you can feel a certain type of way at home. There's people who are, as of right now, spending the rest of their lives in jail because, Joe Biden thought that they deserved it, as if there isn't retribution. And then you had somebody like Trump come in and give us the First Step Act to try and right the wrongs that were done with this 3 strikes rule, and nobody's talking about that.
Michaela, I need more time with you. We got to go to
You can call me whatever.
We'll make it happen. We'll bring you back on, and we'll talk about the president's plan to win more black voters. Michaela, thank you so much. Thanks for being bold. We'll talk soon.
Thank you for having me. You guys have a great day.
Anyway, Michaela Montgomery, let's give you a huge... Sorry, that's about it. You've been outed, you've been caught, and you are a P-L-A-N-T. Well done. You're now going to go in history as, when they Google your name, it will come up with Michaela the Fake. Well done.